Hi, I'm Jeff Eisman, President of Maverick Applied Science. We're continuing our video series today by sharing additional important insights regarding non-metallic equipment. In this video, FRP is never a commodity. How to buy FRP equipment and get what you expect. So procurement managers are used to buying commodities like valves, steel structures, instrumentation, and pumps, for example. These products and materials are very well defined, detailed, and consistent. That's seldom the case for FRP. In most cases, FRP piping tanks and vessels are a custom product with materials designed for a specific application in mind. In that regard, raw materials, manufacturing methods, design standards, and vendor quality practices all can change, and for a variety of reasons. To give you a specific example, more than a few times I've received an inquiry for a replacement vessel based on a drawing from 30 years ago with no additional information, intended for replacement in kind. At times, these drawings are barely legible. Worse yet, applicable drawing notes reference outdated standards that are decades old. You know what I'm talking about. You've probably seen it yourself. And it makes me cringe when I think about it. We've learned a tremendous amount about non-metallic materials in the past half century, and particularly in the last 20 years. When I started in the 80s, some people would talk about FRP as an art form, or worse yet, it's all black magic and pixie dust. Today, FRP and non-metallics are a science. They're well-defined, measurable, and repeatable. Yet sourcing your FRP properly can still get messed up. Meeting expectations isn't automatic, and it doesn't happen by accident. To consistently meet expectations for quality and performance, it takes a solid measure of preparation and execution. Here are some things to think about when you buy new FRP equipment. First, evaluate your priorities. What's important about the operations? Are you focused on fit up, reliability, quality, delivery? What matters most? And then secondly, review your design and operating conditions. These need to be communicated in the inquiry, and not just in a broad sense. You need to include all the details. If there's a potential for system upsets, those need to be clearly identified. If it's an upgrade in an existing system, make sure to check the current operating conditions. Over time, system optimizations can have increased operating temperatures and pressures. So 3, get a subject matter expert to update or develop a comprehensive equipment specification for you. A drawing from 30 years ago is not a specification. It's outdated by a lot. Take the time to get it right. The specification becomes your project roadmap. So 4th, if you don't have an in-house SME, get a good FRP consultant. Go to people you can count on and get reliable referrals. You need someone who can help you with technical review of bids, review of calculations, as well as inspecting the equipment during fabrication. And then 5, if you're buying more than 1 or 2 tanks, requalify your FRP fabricators. Every company has their own ups and downs. Make sure that the company that you choose is up for the task. Visit the shop if possible. Is it clean? Is it well lit? Is it organized? Do you see evidence of checks and balances? That's important. These are important fundamentals that should never be taken for granted. And finally, 6, once you select a vendor, make an inspection and test plan based on your project needs. Then follow through with it. Develop an inspection schedule that makes sense for your project. If your project has a dozen tanks to build, 1 or 2 inspection visits is not going to be enough to give you the confidence that they're doing a good job throughout fabrication. So it's important to keep your operating priorities in mind as much as your budget. Your operations and maintenance teams will have to live with these decisions. The decisions you make and the efforts that you put forth will have a substantial impact on the performance of your piping and your vessels. So in the end, you'll have to own these decisions and the equipment you select. So put some real thought into the priorities of your plant. Don't be short-sighted. Don't let cost be your only measure. Think about the criticality of each vessel or system. What are your expectations for the equipment? If your system goes down, does everything shut down, or is it an isolated system? So stick with the priorities and values, and you will remain on solid ground. Remember, if you need help, we're here to support you. Give us a call. I hope you find this helpful. Keep an eye out for our next video, and thanks for watching.